Hello, everyone. My name is Bianca from the Ukrainian Actors and Actresses fandom. Today at Vertical Voices, I have another actor as a guest, and you might know him if you watching even Verticals from America, not just Ukraine, because we have as a guest Douglas Jung. Welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me. That's really a pleasure. By the way, your last name is Young. It's actually a German word for young.
Yep.
Do you have German relatives?
Not that I know of. So
Okay.
I have more of an Asian background, and it's because the spelling of it was done wrong. So it's like Carl Jung, so similar to that. But when my family was coming to this, coming my great grandparents were coming to this to the states, they everything there was nothing that was digital. Everything was like just written. So they were so this Chinese individual with a very heavy accent that maybe speaks a little bit of English is telling this
Yeah.
American, "This my name is Jung, Jung," and they say, "Oh, it's a J, but it's Zheng is
Yeah.
how it's actually spelled." But they thought it was a Jung, so they wrote Jung, and that's where the root comes from. Now it's confusing when people are like, "Oh, are you German roots or Korean roots?" And it's like, no, they just an American just heard it wrong and wrote it wrong, and then that's like it's written forever, and that's just my social security, my driver, everything is that. So there's no way to. It's interesting. Yeah,
And I guess this spelling is maybe easier in your business for everyone to say it correctly.
mostly people. It means a lot of Chinese crews. They're like, "Oh, Jung, that's Korean though." Or is it like German? And they're like, no. And then I tell them, and they're, oh,
And
okay.
to make it easy, maybe for the audience, could you please maybe introduce yourself, who you are, what you are doing? Because I'm
Yeah,
not sure if everyone knows you.
I'm not, of course. My name is Douglas Jung. I am from the United States. I was born and raised in California. I've been acting for probably, more seriously, probably like about 10 years now. I got in the verticals kind of when they were taking off in the US, like 2023. Been doing a lot of work since then. And yeah, you catch me. I've done a couple of leads. Mostly, I've done a lot of supporting as well. I also do other things too. I do some short films and features, and I do some voiceover stuff too. But you've probably seen me around in the apps. I love acting. I love what I do, and hopefully you've enjoyed one or two of the verticals I've been in. If not,
Yeah.
hopefully one in the future.
Yeah. How many verticals did you do so far?
So I think I'm like at 40, 40, 41
Wow.
is where I'm at.
Wow.
But again, so it's kind of a different, it's a weird statistic because I know some people who have done like 30 leads. I've done 3 leads, a lot of supporting, and there's some day players in there too. So there'll be like, I'll be in a couple scenes in one. There was one I remember I was like the husband that had died that the lead was like crying over most of the film, and there's like I'm in one flashback scene later in the
Okay.
film. So I have like a line or two, and that like it's a vertical I'm in, so I count that as one. So the 40 is like there's definitely a lot in there that are like a day or two, so or 3 days, So, but I've been yeah, it's a pretty high number.
Yeah, but even if it's just a day role, you can still do your this what you love to do, acting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no matter what role it is, sometimes too, like even the smaller roles are kind of fun. Like I did one. I was telling you earlier, I did one with Drama Box, and I was like the one of the. I wasn't the lead antagonist. I was like the second or third antagonist, and I like try. I go to kill the male lead, and I have all these fight sequences. And my character and like one other character, I think I was one of four actors that had the most stunt scenes, and it was great. That's something I was really excited for. That I didn't have to talk as much, and I could just like physically do a bunch of stuff. I value every role, and I try to have as much fun on set as I can.
That's great. So you doing your stunts yourself, you love to do it.
I've been an athlete my whole life, so I have a little bit of like I'm relatively coordinated, and I've done some like martial arts training, and a lot of experience too. I mean, everything's so different on camera too, right? You can like know
Yeah.
how to, you can I've done like you've done karate, taekwondo, or jujitsu, But when you're on set, it's a little different. So I've definitely learned a lot from set. That's like kind of where most of my training's been. There's a stunt coordinator I've worked with like multiple times that has like really helped me. He's like one of the first stunt coordinators I've had, and it's really helped me like figure out, okay, this looks good in camera. If the camera's there, this makes sense. Because depending on where the camera's at too, like I remember there was one I was like walking in and I was like punching this guy. He was seated. The camera's even lower, so I'm punching him in the face, but I have to go like pretty much below his chin. But because of the
Hmm.
camera, it looks like I'm punching him, in the cheek. So there's like a lot of technical stuff there. But I love stunts. If I
It's
could do,
like, yeah, it's like a choreography of a dance.
yeah, it really is a dance. Both of you have to be comfortable, and there's sometimes there's something that, oh, that kind of hurts. You say something, or how about if I do this? And it's like, even though the stunt coordinator obviously is more experienced,
Yeah.
there's with more experience, the more experience I've had, I'm like, well, what if I do this and then this? He's like, okay, yeah, that works. So you're kind of like figuring it out together,
Yeah.
especially with the verticals. It moves so quick that
Yeah.
having it really is a collaboration. They don't like most if it's a big feature, right? They would have stunt rehearsals for like a month, and you'd have training, and you'd really have everything kind of honed in. But sometimes you show up on
Yeah.
set and you have 2 hours to shoot this big fight scene, and you have to just hopefully know what you're doing.
Wow.
Um,
Has ever happened something that, yeah, an accident happened that you, for example, hit
yeah,
someone by mistake?
yeah, it happens. It happens sometimes. There was one instance where this is, usually it's just one camera and you cheat to the one camera. So, if the camera's there, you can hide the miss with my head being in
Yeah.
the way or something. But they were trying to get, I was getting punched and they were trying to get two camera angles at the same time. So that, usually if it's really safe, you're like a foot or two, you're, maybe half a meter away from from hitting someone. But they wanted, because there's two cameras, they wanted to be really close. So they were like, oh, they asked the actor that was punching me to like maybe just like tap my face, like just barely tap. And I should have said something. I was like, oh, they probably know what they're doing. And so we did it like, three multiple times we're doing it. And then one take, it was kind of a little bit of my fault, but I shouldn't have been that close anyways. But I was like, I'm gonna like lean forward a little bit and whip my head back. That'll look really cool. So I do that just a little, like it's just such a slight lean forward, and because I did that, he was like so close to my face, it like made contact, and I actually hit the ground, and then the actor was like, and the other actor that came in that was also in the scene too, he was like trying to get him to be like, no, like just like make the
Go
punch worth it.
on.
He's gonna get punched in
Go
the
on.
face. At least make that the that will be the one we don't have to do anymore. So it was a little bit of like both cameras pressure. The stunt coordinator really wasn't around. I was kind of like, I got punched in the face and I was like, dude, where were you? He didn't even like, you good? So that was something I would definitely speak up now. A little bit of a lot of there's a little bit of everyone's fault in that one. But and then there's another instance where I and this is too like we're rushed, we don't have as much like sometimes like the safety is like it's just happening really fast. There's no one to watch. There's so many moving parts. This one there was like so many moving parts in this scene. I was running forward and I was jumping and doing kind of a leap into like stabbing his shield, and then it's kind of cutting there. So I'm doing it over and over and over, and then the actor to the right of me was we at some point we just said we're too close, and so on like the eighth take or something, I jump and I land on his foot, and I don't
Ouch.
know if I broke his foot, maybe it was like a fracture or it got really swollen, but his foot wasn't,
Ouch.
and I didn't even realize it too. I didn't realize it till like a couple days later where he mentioned it, and I was like, what? Because it happened, and they're like, all right, reset, and we went and did it again, or okay, great, let's move on, and we're just like rushing, so I didn't even like really notice that I did that. I felt really bad, but I don't know if I maybe a fracture or something, and a couple days later he brought it up, and I was I'm so
Could
sorry.
you go
I didn't.
on shooting? Because I don't think that the shooting was over after the scene, right?
Well, he didn't. I didn't know. Like that day, we finished that day. I think he maybe the adrenaline too. It was like the next day he was like, "Oh, my foot kind of hurts." So I don't think he really noticed it. The adrenaline of you're running, action, action, action. I don't think
Yeah,
he
it's
realized it too until
adrenaline.
like the next day. Yeah, but he was walking a couple days later, so I think it was just like it just kind of really really hurt. So that's the thing too. It's
Oh,
like we're so rushed, go 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 go, and you feel the pressure too because a lot of times the first AD or whoever, they're like, we only have 30 minutes for the shot, and so everyone can hear, and the directors, has a lot of pressure on them, and the stunt coordinators, and so you feel the pressure of like, okay, we need to get this done, and that's when mistakes can happen. Yeah,
I mean, this can happen, but it would be, I guess, difficult if, for example, the lead actor get injured and
yeah,
can't go on with
yeah,
shooting.
yeah, yeah. I've never been in a production that has happened. Been on one where they've gotten sick or COVID or something. We had to like pause for a little bit, but thankfully nothing like too. And they do like because I think there is an awareness of like we're moving really fast. Let's try to do we'll do something quick. We'll do a quick.
Yeah.
This is like way too complicated for this stunt. We'll do a punch and a slap. Done. And that way no one's getting hurt. It's just a little bit more simple. And also too, a lot of times the stunts aren't important. It's like the romance that is the highlight. So a lot of times they're
Yeah.
like, we'll skip this. We don't really need it for the story. Yeah.
And I mean, those stunts regarding fight scenes are important, but even if you have intimacy scenes, this must be coordinated as well and
Yeah.
choreographed.
Absolutely, yeah. Everyone feels safe and comfortable. Absolutely, it's like that. Also is a dance just as much as a stunt scene. So it's like making
Yeah.
sure everyone's comfortable, everyone's talked to, boundaries are set. Everything.
Yeah.
It's really important.
In this case, you said it's always important to have a stunt coordinator who is taking care of these camera angles and how you
Yeah.
do in this scene. But is it also very important to have an intimacy coordinator, or if there's on one set no intimacy coordinator?
I would say, I mean, depends on the intimacy. If there's just like a little, like I was on one set where it was very wholesome. I had like two kisses with my co-star. But it was just like a I love you kiss. I love you kiss. So it's like, you know,
Yeah.
but obviously like I would love to have an intimacy coordinator on every scene. But in those instances, I have enough experience where I can just talk with my co-star and be like, hey, what are your boundaries? But of course, an intimacy coordinator, I feel like if it's like one of these things where I believe if you can't afford a stunt coordinator, then you can't afford this complicated fight sequence. If you
Yes,
can't afford an
I agree.
intimacy coordinator, you can't afford this sex scene. That's just how it is. You can't
Um,
just like hope to shoot it. No, you need to have the proper coordinators so that everyone feels comfortable, so that it also looks good. Because yeah, maybe you don't have a coordinator, both actors are uncomfortable, or maybe one actor is, one other one's being weird, and then also it doesn't look good, and it's unprofessional, and then it just leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth, and then you're not going to work together. It's unprofessional,
yeah, but
and I think it's
I must
always very
say
important.
regarding the intimacy coordinator, I see differences between the intimacy scenes in the States and, for example, here in Europe.
Mm,
And here are they sometimes a little bit more open-minded. I think more important is that you are always talking to your co-star, what's okay for both of you
yeah,
and how you're gonna do it. And I guess that's very important because you can also have a very bad intimacy coordinator. I heard already
right,
that they had intimacy
yeah,
coordinators. They wanted to do something for the movie, and no one else wanted to do it, but they said, we're doing it this way, and on the end, it looks stupid.
yeah. It can be hard too. Like that's why it's great to have an intimacy coordinator, because sometimes maybe you're not comfortable telling your co-star what you're comfortable with. You've just met them. Maybe they've said something that kind of rubbed you the wrong way, or was kind of weird, or yeah, that they said something that broke a boundary, and so you're not comfortable like talking to them about that. So it's like great to have that medium to kind of buffer. Okay, this is what I want. This is
Yeah.
what they want, and so they can step in and be like, hey, this is not okay. You shouldn't do that. Or they do something in a scene that no one else notices, and you're gonna confront them. Where in the green room with all the other actors, it's like, no, you have this IC that you can say, hey, this
Mm.
person did this. I'm not comfortable with that. Can you talk to them? And
Yeah, I
it'll get
mean,
fixed.
I figured out that many actors, if they taking a role, they are very confident, they are extroverted, but if they are the real themselves, they are very shy and introverted, and they sometimes, yeah, are afraid to speak up, no matter for what reason.
Yeah, that's the hard thing too. Like especially like if you're a newer actor, you don't know. You're like, oh yes, yes, yes. You're afraid of losing the job. You want to just say
Yeah.
yes. Intimacy coordinators. That's like a relatively new thing in Hollywood,
Yeah,
because
I
which
hear
is a
that.
crazy thing that they didn't have that. But it's like no one really, they didn't care to do it because, yeah. So it's just yeah, it can be tough, and it's great in profession. Like for the most part, all the intimacy coordinators I worked with have been great. Learned a lot too. Like I remember the first one I did, I had like an hour, 30-minute conversation, an hour conversation with the intimacy coordinator, and they brought up a few things. I was like, oh wow, that's something I have to think about. I don't know what my boundary would be there, or I don't know how I'd feel. You're right. So it's great. It's great. It's great to have, because even if it's like a kiss, I feel like you should have it to make sure everyone's comfortable. Also, it can teach people to find their voices and to speak up. Because a lot of, especially some of these newer verticals, have like really young people who are really young that maybe haven't been on camera. They're 19 and you don't know, and
Maybe
your kid,
don't even have experiences in personal life
yeah,
regarding this.
the
And
first kiss is on camera. Yeah,
yeah,
I know a lot of Disney stars like their first kiss was on camera. It's like, yeah, you don't know what to ask for,
how
and then you like,
romantic.
yeah, exactly. Even though it looks really great on camera, sometimes it can be like, okay, this is a job. It's sterile. This is, we're doing this. Great, boom, done. Of course, too, like, when you're looking at someone lovingly and you're kissing them, and you have all these intimacy scenes. Sometimes it's like, you're like, oh, that's why I feel like a lot of people in Hollywood, like a lot of actors in Hollywood, especially, date, get married, have kids, because you're like, it's a weird thing. Like, you're not humans. I feel like we're not meant to just be like, all right, hi, nice to meet you. Okay, now we're married for 4 years and we're in love. Okay,
Mhm.
cut. Now you're strangers again. It's such a weird thing. Like humans, with our like need. I mean, not everyone, I guess, but for personally, like I like connecting with people. And so when
Yeah.
I first started, it was like, oh, I have to. This is a job. I have to separate this. They're not in love with me. They're a great actor. Okay, okay, yes, this is. It's like a weird thing that you have to like kind of train your body to be like, okay, no, and because yeah, it's just a weird. It's a weird, weird thing that we do.
Yeah, I heard also that sometimes you are the first day on set and the first scene you're shooting is an intimacy scene where I
Yeah,
said why they don't do it on day second or something
yeah.
after the actors at least talked a few lines to each
Meet.
other.
Yeah, have a conversation, build a little rapport, a little chemistry.
Yeah, if they don't know each
It's
other before that. Yeah.
it's unfortunate. Usually, It's so nice when I get on set. And it's like, oh, our intimacy stuff is until like day 5. Great,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's like, it's usually like shooting out a sequence. The production, they're never trying to do that to like hurt our performance. It's just like logistically, we have this house. This is the only nice room that we want that the
Yeah.
client approved of, and we only have it for today.
Yeah.
Has to be today, and it's
Yeah.
your job too. Like it's great and it's nice, and it maybe can add a little bit, but if you're doing as an actor, it's your job to make it real and to like have that build that connection really quickly. I remember I did a student film, and the actress, they had, it was the first day I show up, and then my first scene, I walk in and I like touch her face and I'm like, let's get married. And we had
Okay.
it wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing bad. It was just like that love and connection. And I remember the students. They were like, "Wow, you guys are really good. It seems like you're actually in love." And we're like, "Yeah, we're actors. We have to like make that connection." And I had like maybe one conversation with her, but we were able to like have chemistry.
Uh, you can see if the actors have chemistry or not. Because I've seen so many verticals where a
Zero.
couple have to play a couple and there is zero chemistry between
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
And that's actually the fault of the casting agent.
yeah. Totally. It's not the actor's fault. Like that's the thing too. Like you see that you're like, oh, they're bad actors. Well, no. Sometimes for the verticals, everything's so rushed. Sometimes you're booked off your self tape. So
Yeah,
you've not talked to anyone, you've not met anyone in person, you've not even had a virtual meeting with
yeah,
your co-star, and then you're doing this thing and you have all this energy. That's why it's like it's great to have like in once in a while you'll have a chemistry read, and I mean usually I guess like maybe like 50-50 chemistry reads, and that's so you can see like there's like let's try to match who's best. It's just unfortunate when you're on set because then also too as an actor too you feel that you're like oh wow this is like not doesn't look good. We have no chemistry. Like this is not going to do well, and then you're in your head about it. And you feel bad about it, but it's not your fault. Um,
yeah.
can be tough.
Today, for example, I made a vertical marathon. I guess I watched 4 or 5 verticals.
Wow. In a row.
Yeah,
Wow.
beside I did my fandom work, I watched 4 or 5 verticals,
Yeah.
and there been 1 or 2 verticals of them. From begin on, you could see the chemistry between the lead actors who
Yeah.
playing a couple or
Yeah.
getting a couple sometimes in this vertical. You
Yeah. Yeah.
could see the spark between them. And that
Hmm.
was so great to see. And
Yeah.
I mentioned it before in other conversations. I don't always need a sex scene in verticals. I enjoyed much more to see the spark in between two people, if how they look
Yeah.
at each other. You
Yeah.
see how actually both it's for example, today it was an enemy to lovers vertical.
Hmm.
They always were messing with each other and didn't like each other, but you could still see at the same time actually they want each other without saying anything and without doing much, but you could see there was so
Yeah.
much intensity between them, and I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. I feel like that's another thing too. Like I appreciate when there doesn't have to be a lot of intimacy. Of course, sometimes it's needed, or it's like for the story, relevant for the story. But the wholesome ones, where like I did a flare flow one in New York, and it was so wholesome. There was like 2 kisses the whole time, and we did a couple takes each, and that was it. There was no like crazy stuff. It was mainly like her and her son being like humiliated and attacked by like the villain. That was like kind of the main thing. But it's nice because also too, it's like sometimes if you could be uncomfortable, or you have this like you have this scene coming up and you're like maybe a little nervous for it, and you don't know your co-star that well. So there's a lot of it can be just
Yeah.
it can be just be weird sometimes. So it's nice when it's just yeah, you can
Yeah.
like have that connection, you have that chemistry, you have that spark, and that can be the thing. That can be it.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't always need a romance in a vertical. Even the relationship between family members or between
Yeah.
colleagues, you know?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
would be so interesting as well. And yes, the stories are all fiction, but if they have sometimes a little bit more of realistic subjects, that would be nice.
Yeah. Oh, really, more relationships that are more thought out. Like, such an important character. Is in this, like they're like brothers, and
Yeah.
it does like I've done that too. I've been like the brother who also was in love with the girl, but then my brother is in love with her, and I'm just kind of like to the side. But I have like a relationship with both of them. But
Yeah.
that doesn't really matter. It's like there'll be a few scenes, and then it's like I'm kind of your cat. That side character is kind of like cast to the side, and it's just about them, and it doesn't
Yeah.
like build this like realistic world, and it kind of takes away the stakes. It's like, oh, everyone just clears the way for them two to be together. There's like, I guess
Yeah.
there's sometimes a little bit of conflict at the banquet scenes, but yeah, it's like there's like this like extreme underdevelopment of like supporting characters that you know it's just kind of about the lead sometimes, which is can be kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, but I think even the side roles are so important for
Yeah,
the verticals, because
yeah,
without them, there would be so many stories which you can't tell because there's something missing if they wouldn't be there.
yeah, absolutely. Everything you see, that's something I like about film. I feel like in the real world, there's a lot of like BS and things that don't matter, things that you can kind of. But in a film, as a kid too, and watching a film, everything you see and hear matters.
Yeah,
For the most part. And so that's what I enjoy, and like everything that's said is an important backstory, and yeah, so there's just so much like you just want to pay attention and just take everything in. And this character, they're so dynamic and interesting. I want to know more about them, and or I would like go on to like imagine what their backstory was. Or after the film ends, my imagination would be like, okay, well, where would they all go? Where would they live? What would they do? And
yeah,
that is like when it's a great script and it's really great, strong. All the characters are written really strongly. There's no stereotypical characters. Those are the stories that really sit with me because I think about the characters, what they're
yeah.
doing.
And that's where we viewers always seeking for a sequel. But
Yeah,
unfortunately, there are
not
not
that many.
many platforms who are providing sequels.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. You'd think it would make sense, like if a vertical does really well, makes a bunch of money, why not continue the story and like
Yeah,
add,
going
but then
on.
they, yeah, because there's a few I know. There's a few that there's one I think that had like three, but there's quite a few that I have like there's yeah, there's a sequel and yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's they just have a formula of a library of scripts and stories. They just like, all
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
this we see, or in, like since it's been going on in China for a while, they have all the metrics and the statistics, and they say, okay, this one released around summertime and made this much money, so we need to have it released for summer. I'm sure.
yeah.
I wonder how. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an insider, so I don't know. But I really wonder how like how like particular it is with this did well last year, quarter one last year. Let's do the same thing this year. Maybe a little variation. I wonder
Yeah.
how specific they get.
I must say, I saw in the past few days a few verticals still with Christmas themes,
Yeah,
which get released by now. Sorry, it's too late for it.
yeah,
It's
yeah. That's
too
the thing. When
late.
I did a Christmas one for Drawbox, and Drawbox is great, so I was like, oh, this will be released on time, and it was released like a week before Christmas, which was great, perfect. I was able to like
Yeah,
come. But yeah, if it's after at that point, just hold off. No one's really gonna watch it. Hold off and release it next year.
but
But
this year, oh, no, let's say last year, there been a lot of Christmas verticals, but not
yeah,
every so-called Christmas vertical had Christmas in it.
there's like a tree. There's like the opening shot is a tree.
Uh,
It's kind of like the werewolf one where you they mention it once. This
yeah,
is a billionaire one. Like the Christmas one I did, it was a billionaire one. We just happened to
yeah,
be they happened to put me in two sweaters, and that's kind
that's
of there
crazy.
wasn't a lot of Christmas. There were quite a bit of lights and stuff around, but it wasn't. In the very end, it's like, hey, we Christmas, what a great time. But it's not like around. I think what would have been great in that is to have a scene with me and my fiance wrapping gifts and talking about what we want to get people, or the Christmas party, or sitting at a cozy cafe when it's snowing and
Yeah.
having maybe a fight there, like other elements to that could add. But like when I see werewolf theme, I'm like, oh, are there going to be stunts? And I look through the script for stunts, and a lot of times it's just like, oh, you're at the
I
end
will
they
send you
have
later
yeah.
some vertical names from Ukraine where they have werewolf theme, and maybe you can take a look.
Yeah.
But while I'm talking about Ukrainian verticals, did
Yes, let's talk
you
about
hear
that.
about Ukrainian verticals and or maybe did you already watched one?
No, so it was with Michaela that she kind of introduced me, and I think I had seen a little bit of your Instagram before,
Yeah,
and I was seeing it as more international because I've just mainly seen American ones, and then a few Chinese ones that popped up, and then I was seeing, oh, there's like some European ones. What is this about? And then that's when I kind of got connected with Michaela, and she connected me with you. I'm pretty new. Haven't gone to China. The furthest I've gone is New York for a vertical. It's I love traveling. Like I've been to Frankfurt. I've been to Spain, and
oh,
I've traveled a little bit. Yes, my sister actually lives in Nuremberg. Yeah,
great.
she got her master's in Germany a couple years ago because it's free, so it's a lot
Yeah,
save a lot of money from going to school here.
and it's
So
closer to Michaela.
yeah,
We
yeah, yeah.
talking we talking by the way about Michaela from Let's Talk About Verticals because
Yes.
Michaela
Oh
and
yes.
myself we are always talking about our guests.
Mhm.
And if I have someone in my guest list which could be a great guest in her show as well, she's asking, can you maybe ask?
Yeah.
Or this way, hey, I talked to Douglas. He would be maybe interested. Want to maybe you want to talk to him, and
Yeah.
so we
We
helping
connected
out
us.
each
Yeah.
other. So that's how we met. But you should definitely take a look at Ukrainian verticals.
Yeah.
And I have. Oh, recently they released an Ukrainian vertical with a genre which you'd never seen yet in the vertical space. It's about face.
Okay.
I
Yeah, there's
guess
not a
it's
lot of
a
that.
first very vertical,
Yeah.
and it's really felt like a movie which you can watch on TV or in the theater.
Wow.
Not really like a vertical. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
called The Fake King is My Shadow Daddy,
Okay. Very cool
and
name. Yeah.
typical.
Of course. Yeah.
but the costumes in it, the cast in this vertical, the
Right.
storyline, it was.
Wow.
I will send you later
Yeah,
some
please.
infos, and you have to take a look.
Yeah.
And for example, regarding intimacy scenes, which we had before beginning of this month, they released an vertical made in Ukraine, and the lead actor is even German. He
Hmm.
went to Ukraine, to Kiev to
Yeah.
shoot there, and they have a very open-minded intimacy scene because both been totally naked in it.
Wow.
Hmm.
Are they showing like
So
full frontal nudity, not
no,
just like the
you can
butts?
see her you can see her from the back, but you can see she's standing, so you see everything from the tip of her hair till the
Yeah.
foot,
So you're back.
and
Okay.
they have an intimacy scene while she's sitting on his lap. So you
Wow.
don't see anything,
Right. Okay. But
but
it's
you
like they
see
are fully.
everything because of your
Yeah.
imagination.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow. Yeah.
but that's what the Ukrainian teams always doing very well. They
It's
have
like tasteful.
often more open-minded intimacy scenes, but they are filming it in a very beautiful, decent way.
Okay. Yeah.
Like they're going in a big shot and you don't see anything because they're doing it in a little bit blurry way or something.
Mm.
So
Mm.
you don't see anything, but you can use your imagination, and there's always
Yeah.
a story behind it, why
Yeah.
this happening right now.
Yeah.
And this is really beautiful, actually made. But like I said, I don't always need a scene like that.
Yeah.
But this movie where you see this scene in it, it's a very great thriller,
Mm.
and it didn't felt like a vertical at all either.
Wow.
It's
Sign
called
me up.
Love in Oblivion, and it's
Definitely,
really good
definitely.
too.
Yeah. I feel like I would love to get connected with doing more verticals that, I've done the same storyline so many times. It's nice to change it up and like do something that you're like really can sink your teeth into and it's like a great script and it's a great character and it's not like,
Yeah.
just saying the kind of the same thing. So,
You definitely have to dive into the Ukrainian vertical
yeah.
space to take a
Yeah,
look
yeah.
what they are doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you checking out the news, you know what's going on in Ukraine at the moment,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But they still shooting these verticals directly in
Yeah.
Kiev.
Yeah, so tell me like what is the logistics of that? I mean, you mentioned that you'd be like you would be up to
I,
going. Like what is
I would even move there.
you would move there?
I would if I would have.
Why do you feel safe in going? That's a big hesitation for me. It's I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
concerned.
I
Yeah.
had a few weeks ago, or end of last year, I had an interview for the magic behind Ukrainian actors because I have two formats on YouTube. One
Mm,
where I'm talking to Ukrainian actors and creatives, and
yeah.
then I have this category where I'm talking to the audience, but also to creatives and actors from all over the world
Yeah.
about their career and or what
Yeah.
they are doing in the fan space and so on.
Yeah.
And I talked to an actor. He is Bogdan Bazenko. He is a vertical actor, but unfortunately, he have to serve his country at the moment. So we spoke a long time to each other in this interview, and I had to shorten it down, but it was very interesting because we barely talked about his acting career. Yes, we talked about it too, but we
Yeah.
talked mostly about what's going on in Ukraine right now because media don't show
Yeah. Yeah.
always everything.
Yeah.
And we talked about how his situation is right now since he's serving the country, how he's feeling and what's happening. And we also talked about mental health issues, not just from soldiers and veterans, also from people like me who is suffering of depressions.
Mm, mm,
And during this interview, I told him that I not just didn't fell in love with the Ukrainian verticals, I also fell in love with the country, even if I never been there yet. But if I see the videos and pictures from Ukraine, how beautiful this country is,
yeah.
I would love to see that. Plus, but well, most importantly, I fell in love with the Ukrainian peoples
Hmm.
because they are so full of life. They are
Yeah.
living every day like it's the best day ever.
Yeah.
And even if there's a war, sure, some days it's really horrible,
Yeah.
but they try to do the best out of it. and
Yeah.
they still enjoying themselves. They going to concerts. They going into theaters.
Really. Everything's kind of running still. Yeah.
Sure, on some days it's not possible because of all the air raid alerts. For example, on Christmas, they had air raids alerts for 24 hours in a row.
Wow. Everyone just kind of like goes into their stays at home. Maybe if they have a bunker or basement,
Yes,
it just kind of
it's
yeah
always
goes out.
depending what kind of alert it is that they have.
Yeah.
I hear they have Telegram channels where they checking out if it's a drone, if it's a missile. Do they have to go to the shelter? Don't they have to go and can go
Yeah.
on with their normal life? So they're getting
Nice.
used to this sound,
Wow.
unfortunately. But they are so, or they inspiring me how they are working, how they are living. I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes, mostly the air raid alerts are at nights. Sure,
Yeah.
sometimes during the day as well, but mostly at nights. That means that sometimes Ukrainian people going to shelters and don't sleep or barely sleep. And these actors are sometimes in the same situation and still they are on the next morning on set and the show must go on and they shooting the next vertical.
Wow. Wow.
And I'm talking to many of them and they are all so kind, so lovable,
Yeah.
nice. It's just Ukrainian people are just something special for me. And since
Yeah.
I had so many losses in the last 1.5 years, even if I still have a huge family, but I don't have any contact to them. If I would have the opportunity in a financial way, but even in a job way, to get there a job in Kiev, I would move immediately there, even if there's a war.
Wow.
Because I really, really, really
Yeah.
fell in love with the whole culture from them.
Wow. Okay.
And
Something
I
you would
can tell
say.
you,
Yeah.
regarding actors from abroad, there have been a few actors from abroad, like Pierre Loger. He is from France. We have Robert Scott Holmes. He's originally from UK,
Mm.
but live now in Kiev after he
Mm.
shot there.
Really.
He moved there. Then Kiki Frex. He lives
Yeah.
in China and is American and been last year in Kiev as well and shot a few
Yeah.
projects.
Wow.
And some other actors as well. And no matter to who I was talking to, they all said they really enjoyed the time there and they would always come back. They would love
Okay.
to come back.
Yeah.
And I also talked to Anton Skripets. Anton Skripets is the licensing and partnership executive of Amo Pictures, the
Hmm.
biggest production company in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I asked him, how hard is it for them to get actors from abroad to come to Kiev to shoot their vertical? And he said, yes, it's a little bit difficult, more difficult,
Yeah.
but and sure, it's a dangerous situation over there. So you
Yeah.
can't say it's harmless. It's not. But they're taking care of these actors. If they coming to Kiev, they staying in hotels in the center of the city. The hotel have their own or their own shelter. They
Mm.
get,
Wow.
yeah, they get all the information they need if something happened, where they can go, who they have to reach out to, and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
during the time they are in Kiev, they have always, yeah, let's call it actors manager, actors assistant, someone from the Amo Pictures team who
Yeah.
is
It's always
taking
there.
care of these actors, who are showing them around and supporting them in every single situation, you know?
Yeah.
So that they are barely alone.
Yeah.
And so that's, they can ensure you a totally safety. You can't. It's a war zone. It can
Yeah.
become
You never know.
loud at
Yeah.
night, you know? But like I said, for example,
Yeah.
Pierre Loger, he have a few verticals out there now. I guess it's the fifth project, and I guess so far
Okay.
he been 3 times now there.
Okay.
The only problem, which really is, you can't fly to Ukraine. You
Right.
have, for example, to fly to Warsaw, and
Mm.
from there you have to take a train.
Okay.
because planes are not allowed in
Yeah,
the war
that
zone.
makes sense. All the air raids and stuff, the airspace is locked.
Yeah.
Okay, so it makes sense. It's relatively. I mean, things can happen, but a lot of actors have gone in and out, and nothing's happened to them. But of course, there's always a chance. Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it can be terrifying at
Yeah,
nights if it's
yeah,
really a bad attack. It's always can be. You never can say it's not that bad, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
But I don't know if you know Kiki Frex.
I don't know him personally. No, just
Okay.
I've just seen him. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, I have an interview with Kiki Frex on my YouTube channel. I have not just with him, with the crew out of this one project, but I also talked to Pierre Loger and Robert Scott Holmes, and they talked about their experience in
Yeah.
Kiev or in Ukraine while they've been
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's something I think maybe I would be more probably feel better if if I went to the first time going to Europe and maybe do go to Germany to shoot something
Yeah,
or
the
but
problem
I feel
in
like
this
maybe that
case, yeah,
first.
yeah,
Yeah.
the problem in this case is in Germany, verticals are not that common yet. They're
Okay.
starting to do it.
Yeah.
And I know the first casting call which we had here in Germany was not for actors. It was
Yeah.
for influencers with a special amount of followers.
Yeah, I've
And I
seen that.
just
Yeah.
said, I guess this production company don't want to have success. Because if
Yeah.
you are just doing those verticals with influencers, it can't be good.
No, it's gonna be
And
they're not actors, they're influencers.
yes, yes.
Their bread and butter is influencing on social media and
Right. I
yeah,
mean, there can
same
always be
lines.
some talents under these influencers, you know,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
they are not
But it's
actors.
yeah, you're not
And
trained. Yeah, no
and
experience.
last week, I guess, I reposted something in my story of Constantine Film. This is a big production company here in Germany, and they are looking for actors who speaks English, and they are looking there for new cast. And I
Okay.
already tagged in this posting one German actor and Pierre, since he's in France, and he speaks English, so that would be okay, I guess,
Oh,
too.
yeah,
And if they are applying or not, I don't know. I
yeah,
never can say, let's do it. And, you know, it's the
yeah,
same. The reason why I'm doing this vertical voices and I'm talking to actors like you at the moment, I never, if I figure out that you or your colleagues would be interested, for example, to go to Ukraine to shoot there, or
yeah.
for example, Amo Pictures, they are started shooting verticals in UK, USA, Canada, and Australia
Oh wow.
with
Yeah,
a Ukrainian crew.
yeah,
Why I'm doing it is first of all to even to bring to you US actors more information about Ukrainian verticals, what's
hmm
going on, etc. But also if you are interested to getting in touch with Ukrainian crews, I only can forward your contact details to them. What they are doing on the end, I don't know, but I can try to connect you
yeah. Please.
because
Yeah,
there
that
are
makes sense.
so
They're
many
probably
great talents out there.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure they're getting like it would be overwhelming if everyone's messaging them. But yeah, please, I'll send you my like I have like a Google Drive that has like my headshots, my resume, has everything. So I'll send that to you. Yeah, great.
Yeah, I guess I will do it first like this. I will send them your Instagram profile and your IMDb.
Okay.
And if they taking a look at you and they are interested, they reaching out because I mean they they watching verticals from the US as well to
Yeah.
see or to take a look for new actors,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
they can't see everyone because there are so many great
Yeah.
talents out there.
It's a
You
lot.
can know everyone,
It's a lot. Yeah.
especially if you are not always in a lead role, you know? And
Yeah. The
if you
lead. If
can,
you do a bunch of leads in a row, it's easier to get a lot more visibility. But yeah, it
yes,
can be
right.
like with me, it's like some people kind of know me, some people are like who, but then some people do because
Yeah.
I've done so many. So it's kind of a weird like
Yeah,
I'm
I
like
agree.
yeah
And especially since there are barely or mostly none credits in these verticals. How you can know
yeah
If they, for
Exactly. You
example,
don't know.
I can just imagine if they see an actor which they really like,
Yeah.
but there are
How
no
they.
credits.
Yeah. Well, you have to look up. Well, I mean, you could do a little bit of do a little bit of internet sleuthing. You can like find their IMDb, find the IMDb for the project if there is one, and or go to the app and maybe because the apps too sometimes they don't tag the actors. Like
Yeah.
I've had some where I've like done roles and I was like I message them. I'm like, can you tag me? Like
Yeah.
I can promote. I can like I have a little bit of a following. The thousand or so people that follow me will see this. Like that's why not just tag me? I did the
Right.
work, but they don't
Right.
they don't want to do that. I don't know why. It's like a
I
marketing
hear
thing.
I heard on the beginning from my drama because I asked, or let's say it this way. I explain a little bit about the fandom. I started this fandom last year, end of February.
Yeah.
Why did I do that? I started watching, yeah, in 2024, American
Yeah.
verticals.
Yeah.
And on some point, I watched a vertical and I heard immediately an Eastern European accent. And I was Googling from where these actors are from because I heard this accent, but I couldn't recognize it. And it was actually pretty hard to figure it out. And I figured out it's a vertical from Ukraine.
Hmm.
And then I went to IMDb and was looking for the show or for the actors, and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you at this point, last year, barely the actors had a profile on IMDb. And the profiles which you find now, or by
Yeah.
now, they are
Yeah.
not made by the actors themselves. Those are some production companies or mostly fans who creating those profiles on IMDb,
Yeah.
and they are
Yeah.
not really correct filled out. So since there wasn't many information about Ukrainian actors, I had on the beginning seven male actors and eight actresses in my fandom where, well, my headquarter is. I
I mean,
will send you later a link, and it's a little bit older video on my YouTube channel, which explains what I'm actually doing, because Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, that's not our main part. I'm doing mostly everything on Discord
yeah.
because I can provide there more information than on the social media channels because
Yeah. It's a lot
I
more.
have at the moment 168 actors and actresses in my fandom where I publish their social media channels and their filmographies of the verticals and
Hmm.
so-called movies. Mini movies are short drama series which have the length of 10 to 20 minutes, which are for free on YouTube.
Okay. Like a short
So,
film, maybe is what we would call it.
yeah, it's kind of like a vertical, just 10 to 20 minutes long.
Oh, okay. Okay, interesting.
And
And those are produced because they just want to like pitch. They're trying to pitch it to a production or to an app to buy it to do the whole thing, or.
Amo Pictures owning these projects, Dramatize Me, Love Buster TV, and Be Kind. And
Mhm.
there are around 1,600 to 1,800 mini movies with the
Okay,
same
so
actors like in the verticals.
okay, so just a way to make money for like less having not having to produce
They
a
don't
full
do money
film.
with that because it's for
Yeah.
free.
Wow. Okay. Oh, interesting. Oh,
They
so
started with that kind of storytelling before they started doing verticals.
okay, so they want to just kind of continue what they've been doing.
Yeah, and
Okay.
nowadays they have a few verticals which are published on My Drama, but were made for Buster, for example, on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
they published it first or released first on My Drama. But if you are clever, you can go to YouTube, watch it there for
Mm-hmm.
free, even if you have a vertical in one movie, and on YouTube you have maybe four episodes
Yeah.
and they have different titles, but you can find them there and can watch those shows for free.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Thanks so
And
much.
I'm doing all these filmographies. I mean, with the mini movie filmographies, I'm way back behind because, like I said,
They're
1,600 to
yeah.
1,800, and I
That's
have to
crazy.
watch them all to figure out which actor is acting in there. What is a role name? When got the movie released, and on which platform you can watch it?
There's no credits.
No.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. It was.
Some Ukrainian verticals have credits now, like on Real Short.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I feel like that's
But
something I've talked to people recently. There's no credits, so like all the crew and the director, producer, scriptwriter. There's no credit for everyone. Like you see the actors, that you see our faces, so you know what we worked on. But it's like everyone else. It's such a huge collaboration. There's so many people on set. There's so much work that has to be done for even like when I step onto set, I was like, this script had to be written. There were producers, there were meetings talked about. They had to cast me. They had to look through how many other actors they looked through. There's so many things that have happened just to for me day one step on set, and so I just try to remember and appreciate that and all the other people that
Yeah.
like if you notice on my
Um,
Instagram, I try every short film I do, I try to credit every single person that's worked on it because they deserve it. Because I wouldn't have been part of this beautiful project without them. So we're all a team together. So yeah, but it's just a shame that's like the movie standard, and they just took that away.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Douglas, if you are interested to getting in touch with them, I can forward your information,
Yeah,
and we will see where the journey is going. And
yeah,
but first of all, thank you so much for joining me today. It was a
yeah,
pleasure talking to you and hear about something from your career. And yeah, we talk maybe sometimes.
yeah. Absolutely. I'll definitely more meetings. Yeah, Bianca, it was so great to connect you. I'm so grateful for Michaela for connecting me, and yeah,
Yeah, we try.
I'm excited what this. Yeah, I'm just excited for the future and connecting with you more, and maybe working in Europe would be really exciting. So, thank you so much for what
If
you
something
do and
happen like
everything.
that, let me know or Michaela, so we know
Yeah,
if you are coming close.
yeah.
And so far, I yeah, wish you a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. I wish you too. Yeah, well, it's night for you, so have a great night. Sleep
Yeah,
well.
thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you so much. Take care. We'll talk soon.
Bye.